Call it to order. I want to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting of the Board of Directors of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District for Thursday, July 27, 2017. We'll start today's meeting with a pledge to the flag and ask Director Gould if he would lead that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director. We'll start the meeting with the Metro cable announcement. The open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14, replay on Saturday, July 29, 2017 at 12 noon, and Monday, July 31, 2017 at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. It's also webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. Right now is the public opportunity to discuss matters of interest within the jurisdiction of the district, whether or not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
There are no speakers this evening.
Outstanding. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Do we have any questions regarding any items on the consent?
Mr. Chairman, no questions from this board member, but I do motion that we pass the consent agenda as presented.
Outstanding. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Motion and a second. Can we get the vote, please?
Director Gale, I have you joining us. Would you like to vote on our consent agenda?
I have no objection to it. Yes.
And Director Gould?
Aye.
Orzali?
Aye.
Sheets?
Aye.
Clark? Aye. Kelly?
Aye.
And Wood?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Moving on then to presentation items. We have Dane, and I'll mispronounce your name. Sure. Wadley with the CSDA.
Good evening, board members and staff. Thank you so much for a few minutes. As I said, my name is Dane Wadley. I'm a field coordinator, or field representative for the California Special Districts Association. And here tonight on behalf of the Special District Leadership Foundation, basically the foundation arm of CSDA. Here to present the district with one of our Transparency Certificate of Excellence, as it says on your agenda there, and have a little bit of a few talking points I'd like to go through with you guys, and then, of course, do the presentation and maybe do a photo opportunity for you guys for all of our social media pages, et cetera, after this is done. So, as I mentioned, the SDLF is the foundation arm of CSDA. It's dedicated to promoting, excellence in special district governance through a number of recognition programs. One of them, of course, being the Transparency Certificate, which was created in 2013 to enable districts across the state, right, to showcase their public transparency and their operation to the public and the community at large. Just as a little bit of background, there's basically three components to the to earn the certificate. It's a very rigorous application and a program that no doubt staff is familiar with, having submitted all the documentation. But there's a kind of basic transparency requirements. So the board, of course, completing all your ethics requirements and submitting your financial reports to the state controller's office, those type of things. There's also a number of there's website requirements, obviously having a website, but then things such as putting your budgets and your audits and that type of information on the website for the public. And then finally, there's an outreach component, if you will, which requires a district to kind of meet 2 out of 3 options, include having a regular district newsletter, have a community budget meeting, those sorts of things. And obviously, you guys have met all of those to earn this tonight. Obviously, why is the transparency important? We can all agree on why it's important, but as I always like to say, it's the district's business is, of course, the public's business. And a point I always like to make too with districts when I'm doing these presentations is that a lot of the work that CSDA does on your behalf down in the Capitol, of course, is on our advocacy side is minimizing the number of new mandates basically on districts. And a lot of that's done, kind of new transparency. And there's a lot of there's a lack of knowledge, unfortunately, in the capital that we see about, one, what special districts even are, but all the services that are done and all the efforts that a lot of our members do to be transparent and to be as open as, a county or city or any local government entity that you would think of. And so when we have districts that go through this, program, it enables our staff in Sacramento who are advocating on your behalf, to talk to legislators and their staff saying, look, we have a program in place. We are being transparent. We're being proactive to take necessary steps, and we don't need, of course, the legislature to come in and mandate something new when we have these type of programs in place. So, just from our perspective, we sure just appreciate the commitment of the board to this program, and then obviously staff's hard work and actually putting it all together and finalizing the documentation that's needed. So I really appreciate that. This certificate, obviously demonstrates a tangible acknowledgement of the district's transparency efforts. And with that, I'd like to make the presentation on behalf of the board and staff of the Special District Leadership Foundation. It's obviously my pleasure to present the District Transparency Certificate of Excellence. Don't try to say that 3 times fast, to the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District, and congratulations. Thank you.
What?
Come on.
Gets posted in the post office. How's this gonna work? Yes. Well, he's transparent.
That's right, you can see, right? 1, 2, 3.
It was. Thank you so much, appreciate it.
He's sticking around for questions?
Yeah, hold it. You hold it just a second. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. Appreciate you coming out here and presenting us with that. And while it's easy for all of us to sit up here and say, yeah, this is an important thing for us to do, we wouldn't have this certificate, the recognition, if it weren't for all the work that staff put in. I know Melissa kept all of us in line so that we could be compliant, and everyone down the line, all the way, all the work that went into it, we wouldn't have it without everyone's help. So any other comments from the board for Mr. Wadley?
Wadley, yes.
Wadley, I'm sorry.
I'd like to remind you, Brown Act requires that. And I think that has more muscle than the California Special District Association. I served on the Sacramento Suburban, and we also had it, as a matter of fact, Sacramento Suburban Water District.
Right.
Of course.
Director Gold? Oh,
I was
Director
just
Gold?
going to say, sure, I appreciate the
But just a minute, too, let me finish.
okay.
Also, that's, the Brown Act requires to have transparency because it's a people's business.
Absolutely.
And quite often we forget that.
Right.
Of course.
Can I go now?
Director Gold.
Okay. I appreciate the work that your organization does on behalf of special districts. I think we're a unique group within the governmental entities, and I appreciate all the work that you all do. This is a pretty significant thing that our organization has gone through. A lot of work has gone in, as the president's already mentioned. I would ask that if there's a way that this information could be shared, for instance, with our contract cities. We have within our jurisdiction a couple of cities that we contract fire service for. And I think it's important that those electeds, the mayor and the city managers, they get this information that the organization that they rely on and trust is doing some of this additional work. So while I very much appreciate what you all do, I would also ask that we kind of let this be known in our county, and in our contract cities. So if that's not too much of a burden, I know you'll do the whole social media thing. I update my Twitter frequently. I really think that this is an opportunity for us to share this really awesome news. It's quite a thing to have an organization of our size receive this kind of recommendation. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and I can comment to that too. Captain Vestal has already reached out to our cities, and
great.
we're well on our way of making sure everyone's aware that we are advocates of transparency. So it's nice to know that one of our board strategies has been accomplished, or
Yeah.
we're well on our way to accomplishing everything about that.
So will Captain Vestal update my MySpace page then on that? Just checking.
Did he say MySpace?
I don't have access to your MySpace.
Really? Funny, either do I.
Yeah, no, I'm working on that right now for the others. And then for Citrus Heights and Rancho Cordova, we're actually going to start having some space in their city newsletters.
Excellent.
Which are going to be monthly and quarterly for Citrus Heights, a little less frequent for City of Rancho Cordova. And then ourselves also, we're going to start doing right now we're going to start quarterly with the newsletter, but they'll incorporate that as well.
Well, and it might be something that we think about, letting our constituents in these different areas know exactly what the, CSDA is. I don't think there's a lot of knowledge about the fact that there's an association of special districts that really are interested in ensuring that we are transparent. And so I think there's a really great synergy that's going on here tonight, and I'm very pleased to see this kind of thing. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Director. Any other comments or questions? Director Rosali.
Earlier, there was a reference to the Brown Act and as it relates to transparency, and it's true, transparency is a general tenet of the Brown Act. It also doesn't mean much. This quantifies the standards for transparency, as opposed to a vague guideline that exists in the Brown Act. I think this is important in a number of ways, in that this is a quantifiable standard that can be identified and compared. And I just really appreciate the work, particularly the effort on the part of staff.
Mr. President, I think it was quite significant with the passing of the Brown Act, because we stated like Bill and whatever, and others are not up to prompter, but I think the Brown Act has the muscle. And it's a requirement for each district to be familiar with that. That's why we have seminars, and we have smart people on boards to do that. It was a significant thing, the passing of the Brown Act.
All right, we can continue that debate offline. Mr. Wadley, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, it's obviously, it's a very rigorous program, as I kind of went through some of the, it's not just throw up a website, put your names on there and maybe a budget, and then you're done. There's much more to that, and obviously we designed it that way for a reason. And so I just, obviously again wanted to highlight just the importance of the board's commitment, and then of course staff's hard work to do it. So again, thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to reports, the President's report. The only thing I would add is, or have to say, is Tuesday night, August 1st, is National Night Out, and Metro's going to be out in multiple communities. I'll be out at Veterans Park here in May. They're just on the other side of the airport. I hope all of my other board members will be in their communities with them, working with Metro and also our partners in law enforcement on Tuesday. Moving forward, Fire Chief's report. Chief Bridge.
Okay, thank you. I'm fortunate I only have a few items to touch on, but before I move to those topics and acknowledgments, I do want to take a moment to thank all the members that are out there working every day. We have a tremendous amount of opportunities for our members to be brought back on their days off, and much of the time that's kind of a mandatory position. But nonetheless, they've showed up, and they know this is a short-term commitment that they're doing, but that commitment's also and sacrifices to those families as well. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge how much I appreciate it, and I know our staff appreciates. So hats off to everybody out there in the field. The end is in sight, so I assure them that. So another notice, we had a retirement. One of our solid members of 27 years, Captain Kevin Thompson, retired on July 14th. So put in a good solid 27 years. Congratulations to Captain Thompson. We also have a reclassification that was effective July 1st. Assistant Logistics Manager, this is Mark Siebert. This position replaces a warehouse supervisor position that was approved in 17-18 final budget that we have in front of us, or right in the near future. We also have a new hire, effective July 31st, Office Tech, let me see if I can get this right. There he is, Larson Roundy, and will be working with us in the Operations Division, which will be nice. And meetings, really the only meetings so far have just been our command staff meetings and with the day staff and crews and meeting with labor. But other than that, business as usual. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Normally I look to you for the operations report, but we look into someone else.
Yes, so this one could be a little more robust because we've been busy. Thanks to Chief Neville for reporting out tonight.
Welcome, Chief Neville.
Good evening, members of the board and Acting Chief Bridge. We have evidence, photographic evidence? Yes. Okay, excellent. Well, to date, we've had approximately 3,797 calls since the last time we met. 15 of those calls were significant structure fires. And we're watching an increased activity along the river, along with the holiday and post-holiday activities. With the alcohol ban along the river, we're actually seeing less contacts with the public in the form of a rescue with the alcohol ban. But on the off weekends, after, we'll see more contacts in the forms of rescues or evacuations. So since then, we've actually had 7 contacts. It's really hard to quantify how many times over that weekend, how many folks we moved. It was the numbers are well in the 30s for over the holiday weekend of us moving people from their rafts that ran aground and moving them off to the public side. So the water rescue in and around the American River continues to be a point of resource deployment for us. And speaking of that, in Mariposa County, the Detweiler Fire continues to cause CAL FIRE and local resources up there some issues. We've got some of the resources back there. They've actually had an escape today where some of the resources that were slotted to be released are actually going to stay committed. So, and along that line, the Whittier fire in Santa Barbara County is well in hand, and that's been turned over to locals in Santa Barbara. And the folks that we had down there are actually on the way back. One of them's actually working today already, and then Chief Savage is doing the orientation for the new hires that we're having going on tonight. In Modoc County, we had a bunch of thunder activity across the border in and around the 395 area that sparked in excess of 50 fires over 200 acres. And so we have a complex going up there, and we have some folks committed up there into that process. Lightning fires, if you will. On the other side of this is that we talk about, in broad strokes, what we have going on, but I do have some video clip I'd like to share with you of some of the day-to-day type of activities that we have going on and some of the hazards that the rank and file face out there fighting structure fires. The first couple clips, or the first set of clip I'll show to you here is a structure fire that happened in Battalion 9 with Chief Law, who happens to be sitting here in the audience today. And her crews faced a very unique hazard of arcing lines in the back. So as they came up to approach the structure fire, the occupant met them outside and they knocked the fire down. But what presented a significant lethal hazard are the arcing wires you see in the background there. Normally those wires will arc for a few minutes before some type of device in the grid, if you will go out. These went on for well over 45 minutes while we had to wait for PG&E. That's discharging well over 240 volts, 440 volts into the ground, and that can travel hundreds of feet and present significant issues to our firefighters. We had a 1,200-acre fire. It was a Latrobe fire that happened just yesterday, and the road that you can see that I'm parked on right there was the containment line, and then this is a spot fire. You can see there's no fire engines on that road. At the time it spotted over, everybody ran out of water, all the aircraft ran out of fuel, our helicopter had to go back and get fuel, and unfortunately the spot fire that you're going to look at right here, and we'll have another video piece here in just a second, went another 600 acres. So this is an interesting piece of video because you get to see the fire behavior in the tall grass that we're dealing with after the drought. And this will fast forward here in just a few seconds. And you can watch the rate of spread and how quickly these fires change in dynamic. And even though we have phosgenic on the ground dropped by a CAL FIRE S2, that it's going to burn through that in a very short period of time. Now I'm going to fast forward this here. So as we move down the road, you can see how the flame lengths increase and just burn right through that phosgenic. So again, some of the significant fire behavior that we're seeing, that's a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. And here you can see fire whirls and increased flame lengths. And then we'll see that S2, again, this is basically this spot fire just taking off, and he'll drop on the other side of it. So just to give you a little idea of day-to-day stuff that's going on out there, this fire went, again, 1,200 acres. We were in unified command with CAL FIRE. We had over 16 resources, a helicopter, 9 engines, 2 water tenders, 3 command vehicles, and our rehab unit out there working shoulder to shoulder with the CAL FIRE folks. So just to give you a little day in the life videos, if you will. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Chief.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on, 522.
Good evening, directors. I'm Barbara Law, Battalion Chief Representative for 522. I don't have an official report from 522 tonight. However, I did want to congratulate the board on the Transparency Award. I was fortunate at the time that that project started to be working in administration in the EMS division, and was at one of the strategic planning sessions where that was identified as a goal that you wanted to meet. So congratulations on finishing that project.
Thank you so much. Committee and delegate reports. Executive Committee has not met and does not have a meeting on calendar. Moving on to the Communication Center JPA, Assistant Chief Johnson.
Good evening, Assistant Chief Bo Johnson. Our last meeting was on Tuesday. The only item of significance really on there was the Fire Service Medical Director agreement that was approved. That's a 4-year agreement with 3 extensions and options. Your report.
Thank you, Chief. Moving on to the California Fire and Rescue Training JPA, Director Kelly.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members, the California Fire Rescue Training JPA will meet Thursday, September 21st at 4 p.m. in the CESC.
Thank you, Director. Finance and Audit Committee goes back to you as well.
Yes, this evening, the Finance and Audit Committee met, Mr. Chairman. There was a presentation on the annual report for the California Employee Benefit, the CERT. Okay, I lost it. But anyways, it was a fine meeting, and I'll give you the absolute rundown on it in just a second. We had the Finance Committee meeting, and it was Matt Goss from CalPERS, and he provided a financial report. Oh, no, wrong meeting. Yeah, that's it. He provided a, there we go. The California Employers Retiree Benefit Trust, the account annual update, and that was provided by Matt Goss of CalPERS. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director. Moving on to Policy Committee, Director Gould.
I don't know, somebody's trying to call me. Now I lost my spot. I think we have a meeting on August 10th at
Yes.
5:30. Sure hoping that one goes. Be nice to have some policy to review, so I think that's a go.
Thank you very much. Board members, questions and comments? I'll start to the far right with Director Gale.
I'd just like to compliment the great job that the 5 people have been doing over the years, because it is probably one of the first organization in a lot of our cities in this country was fire departments. There was volunteers, but now we have the great professionals who on top of the job, very rigorous job, and I would like to thank you for doing such a wonderful job.
Thank you, Director. Director Gould?
Just echo what I said earlier about the Transparency Award this evening. It's not so much about the award, it's about all the work that is recognized through that award at all levels of this organization, from the men and women out on the street to this motley crew. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Director Orzali.
Just wanted to congratulate staff again on the award this evening. those things take a great deal of time and effort, and often that's unrecognized. So once again, I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Director. Moving all the way to the left with Director Kelly.
I just wanted to say, once again, it's a pleasure to be associated with the Metro Fire, or as I often refer to you, as the high-performing team. Thank you.
Director Clark.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I echo the words of my other board directors, and I especially want to thank the men and women out there who have put themselves in harm's way to keep us safe from those grass fires and the waterways and all that. So special thanks to them.
Thank you, Director. Director Sheets.
I just wanted to congratulate the members on their promotion. I also wanted to thank Chief Bridge for updating me on the wildfire yesterday, and I'm pleased to hear that the helicopter is up, and everybody did a great job yesterday, so thank you.
Thank you, Director. I'd echo what everyone has already said, and I'd also want to thank my fellow board members and the administration for fire camp this year. I went and saw the last day in the competitions, and Brenda, as always, I think it's her 16th year doing it, something like 16, 17 years. Always, it's a phenomenal time. All the kids had a great time, and it was just a wonderful thing, and I'm very proud to be part of this opportunity that the kids in our community have to see this profession and get involved in it. And Chief, also, thank you for keeping us informed, and with the string of 100-plus degree days we got coming up, everyone out there, please be safe, and thank you so much. With that, we're adjourned.